6:30 and we've got quorum, so we will start the meeting at 6:30. I'll first start with the statement of acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge this land that we meet on today as the traditional lands of the Gawler people, and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Gawler people as the custodians of the Greater Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Gawler people today. We'll move on to the attendance record. We have apologies from Edward, Councillor Solomon, Councillor Solomon, Natalie White and Abby Dale. Do we have any motions to grant leave of absence? None, and I don't believe we have any current leave of absence. And Max is right on the dot. So we only have non-attendance from Bernie at the moment, and we shall see if he rocks up. We don't have anyone for the public open forum. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Moving on to the confirmation of minutes, I'll just note before we start that our August minutes haven't gone to council yet, as we wouldn't normally have a meeting in August, but they will go to council with the minutes from tonight. So if there are not any questions in regards to the minutes, can I please have a mover? Emerson and a seconder. Max, thank you. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. So the recommendation to council is that the minutes of the Gawler Youth Advisory meeting held on the 5th of August be confirmed as a true and correct record. If there's no further questions, I will move on to 7.1, which is the Gawler Youth Development Officer update. Would you like to speak to the report, Deb? Business arising from the minutes? Do we have any business arising from the minutes? I don't believe we did, and then there were no questions. Okay, then would you like to speak to the report, Deb?
Sorry, through the chair, thank you. We're about to release the October school holidays, so if you'd like a sneak peek, there is a poster up the front here. We will be looking for some volunteers during that. We do like to have at least 2 volunteers in each session if we can, just to help us run those programs, set up, pack up, and obviously look after any new people that haven't been to the youth space before. So we've got some exciting things happening, from drama auditions to urban art, lots of different stuff. So please have a look if you are interested in coming to help us. Term programs are obviously in play. We are planning for term 4, so next meeting we'll definitely have the term 4 programs out. We are also wanting to look at yak photos, so we do need to plan a time for that, so we get updated ones. A big thank you to the volunteers that have helped out in the past month. The Careers Expo, thank you to Ren, Emerson and Ace. Without their help, it's one event they can't run, from set up to pack up to being there on the day, manning the stalls, so it's really appreciative. And Ren also helped deliver the Christmas card competition forms to all the schools this month, last week. So that is, the Christmas card competition is now open. And the youth development plan at the Careers Expo, a lot of people actually voted, so we do have a lot of votes, but we still are in the next 4 to 8 weeks hoping to get out to the high schools and get people to vote from there as well. So it is good to see how many people are actually interested in what is actually going on, and learning about the youth and what they're doing in Gawler. It was also nice to see regular youth that come to the youth space come to the Careers Expo, so that was really nice. Over the next month as well, we'll be looking at starting working with children's checks for those of the new YAC members that have just joined, making sure that we have all of that and offering them a chance to also sign up as volunteers at the same time if they're not already volunteers. The other thing that we were asked to consider, this is from the volunteer person in charge of volunteering, Sana, and she has asked us to consider if there's anyone part of the YAC that would like to be part of a group that comes up with an idea of looking at possible once-off following volunteering opportunities in the future. So say someone walks in and says, I want to volunteer picking up rubbish or doing a graffiti event or at an event or something, but they don't want to volunteer all the time. So they might want to volunteer once a year and not regularly. So this is an idea that they want to talk about. It may not happen, it may happen, but they would like to know if anyone from the youth committee would like to put their hand up to be part of those discussions. So if you do, could you please let me know, and I'll pass that on to, Sana. Thank you.
Awesome. Are there any questions? No. I'll ask for a mover, Darcy, and a seconder, Lily. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. The officer's recommendation is that the Gawler Youth Advisory Committee recommends to Council that the Youth Development Officer Update Report be noted. Item 8.1 is the Chair's verbal update. I've just got some notes from Abby here. The Mayor and Abby discussed the Gawler show and how it brings our community together. They also spoke about the growth framework and the push for a music expo that Abby attended through the Careers Music Pathway. If there's any questions, please ask Abby, because I don't know what she's talking about. 8.2 is the Youth Advisory Panel update. So they've had a meeting. They met in Parliament House on August the 14th. They heard from a guest speaker, and they did some problem solving on how to get involved in your local government. We'll move on to 8.3, which is the Gawler Youth's Accessibility to Transport and Bike Month. Max, do you have anything to update? Thank you.
All right, so for this one, the last meeting I talked about a submission that we were writing, so we submitted that. I can quickly go over what I put in if people would like me to. If you want the full thing, just ask me or ask Debbie or ask Abby. We've all got copies of it. But basically it was looking at more interesting places in Gawler, so that there's more places for the youth to hang out, because at the moment, you know, there's stuff to do, but it's probably not as good as we think it could be. So a lot of the first part was looking at that, particularly around Murray Street, adding more types of shops and different areas to just, you know, actually be in Gawler. So that was the first part. The second part was looking at more transport options. So that was looking at, you know, where we put new train lines and new bus lines and stuff like that. And then there was also a little bit written by Jade as well on health. So that was the main part of our submission. But yeah, if you want to know more, just ask me or Debbie or Abby. We can forward you on to the submission we put forward. Also, the other thing as well is consultation is on for it's associated with the Gawler Growth Framework, which is what we've just put a submission in for, but the Gawler Integrated Transport strategy as well. Most of the stuff in our submission kind of addresses the transport strategy as well, so we don't really need to do anything new for that. But there is one thing I think is worth putting forward to Council, which is in the strategy. If there was ever a plan to close off Murray Street, the suggested route is to use King Street, which I don't think was a very good idea. It's a nice calm street at the moment, and putting a lot of traffic through it doesn't seem like a good idea. So I thought we could put a little thing forward just saying we don't think putting traffic onto King Street is a very good idea. Now, if people don't know what King Street is, it's the one that goes from, you know, the new pedestrian bridge near the Gawler train station, heads over towards the swimming pool. So that I think it might be worth just putting in a little thing saying we don't support having a high traffic road through there. But apart from that, I think everything else is, we've addressed everything in our submission we've put forward already. But I think that's all from me. If anyone has any questions, just, feel free to ask them here.
Cool. Could we potentially maybe put the submission on our Facebook group, just if anyone wants to have a read, if there's a copy of it somewhere? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just so instead of sending it out to individual people, they can access it if they want to. Yep, and Ren has a question.
I've just got like a general question about like the bike month. Where are the bike racks like located like along Murray Street? I know there's one outside the PA, like the pub. But like, is there one outside the Civic Centre also?
Oh, bike racks. Yeah, yeah, Jack definitely brought that up a few years ago, I think. Max? Oh, I think I was cancelled both of you, sorry.
I have ridden my bike a few times to a meeting. The bike one that I use is the one on Walker Place. That's the closest one, I think, to here. But you've got to cross the road to actually get here, though. But there's not many on the main street.
Any other questions or discussion? No, that's all good. Thank you for that, Max. I believe Emerson may have an update on Bike Month, seeing we're on that topic.
So, yeah, I have a little bit of an update. Does anyone want to write the Gen Now piece for Bike Month this time? It's due next week. If anyone wants to put their hand up, let me know. Besides that, Bike Month is it's about to start. The maps are ready to go out. We're just waiting on the motion to be approved by council. And with the social media still is also waiting for approval. And that's pretty much it.
Cool, thank you. Does anyone have any interest in writing an article about Bike Month? I may be able to. I might be able to interview Jack, maybe, and say, hey, why'd you come up with this idea, and how's it working in Gawler, maybe? So I can take that on.
It's due next week.
Next Monday?
Yeah. Next week.
Next week. I've seen Jack tonight. I will ask him if that's all good. Cool. If there's no other questions or discussion in regards to Transport or Bike Month, we'll move. Councillor Davies?
Yeah, just in terms of the motion, I don't think there's anything in there that would stop you at this point. It wasn't a motion asking the council to do anything. It was just saying it's what the YAC is doing. So you can do it regardless of whether or not it goes to the council, because it's not asking the council to put resources in or anything like that. But yeah, it will get put up this month at the council meeting.
Okay. So we're not looking to put a motion forward tonight in regards to that? No. Okay. That's all good. Once consultation plays out, we can come back and discuss again. If there's no further questions or discussion, we'll move on to 8.4, which is the youth programs update. We'll first start with drama.
Hello again. With drama, we are into the point where we are deciding what play we're going to do and what ones we want to go. Today, we just had our drama and we decided on some type of mouthful that is very hard to say. We just call it the because it's just all sorts of M's. It's a story about a girl going to her father and saying, I'm getting married, realizing the father has also eloped her into another one. Oh, we've got the name. The marvelous melodrama of marriage of Miss Lead Minor. That is what it's called. Very interesting, confusing name. Yeah, it's really funny. We've done a couple of read-throughs and we've decided on that one. We had another option at one point, but we put it to a vote, and that we're about to have our audition soon in the holidays, and we'll also be making some props and stuff as well.
Awesome, thank you. We'll just finish the youth programs update and then we can come back if there's any questions in regards to any of those. So we'll move on to band. Lily?
So last we did band the 25th of August, the show, and we got messages saying that we did good. It was one of our best shows that we've done. So that went very well. We have a Meet the Band and recording session, first month Tuesday of the holidays. October 1st, to record our new song, Dead Man's Pass. And then our next show is the 12th of October. It's an Everston Gardens Family Fun Day event, but we're doing good just practicing our songs at the moment.
Cool, thank you. And then the last point I have is on upcycle denim.
Back to me again. With the upcycle denim, I will admit it's been a bit chaotic, but it's a small little group learning sewing. It's quite interesting, and I find it quite fun. I find it fun to tinker with the machines. We've made some scrunchies, and people are starting on making bags, like tote bags for themselves. Then the last week I was there, I missed the week before, was people were starting on the Cricut machine. It's like a machine to print out little like stick-ons to your clothing, or like pretty like displays and stuff. Pretty much, it's hard to explain. And because I was still doing sewing, we had a piece of fabric going around the whole table, and I was just sewing straight lines. That was fun too. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, thanks guys. Are there any questions in regards to the youth programs update? If not, we'll move on to the youth events update. The first point I have is on Arts on the Plains. Would someone like to speak to this?
Me again. The Arts on the Plains was this little event, because we in the previous holidays, if I'm pretty sure we had a bunch of art programs and made a bunch of things. Lily, Abby, Ace and myself were there. Ace had a couple pieces submitted of a whale and some other things we spray painted. I had this music stand or book stand spray painted. I don't remember what it really is. Then we had Lily and Abby performing on that day too. It was out at Vintage Hoopla, what was being very nice of them to let us display the art and stuff that our youth has created. Yeah, they had the opportunity to busk outside. It was just a very nice, peaceful day. That's all it was.
Cool. I just have a note that Arts on the Plain closes this weekend if anyone hasn't had the opportunity to go see it yet. We'll move on to the Norma visit, which is also Emerson.
Back one more time. No, I've read this. Oh, maybe not. Okay. This was something myself and my mum, Debbie, attended. I'm not going to read that because I don't believe in what's written. It was very boring, in my opinion. I will admit, if you're intrigued about like science teachers type vibes, that's what it felt like. And then when we did end up going for like a little look around the factory, it was really, really dirty, and I feel like they get away with it because of their recycling thing. It was quite interesting, some of the machines, but I will admit, because I've worked in a factory before, it's very different. I don't know how they were working on like a pile of filth. You would see the security was standing on like filth that they've either just misthrown. I don't know how, but look, if you actually are interested in the recycling like process, it would be interesting. And then if you're okay with a bit of a smell, you'll have at least some type of fun walking through the factory.
Deb would also like to talk to this.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, I had the opportunity to, and obviously my feedback was I was actually surprised. The smell was the first thing that hit me. I wasn't expecting that. And then I thought, oh, actually, yeah, of course it will smell. And surprised what goes in there. It was a lot, obviously, different than what I thought, but it was actually really good to see the process, what was happening and what was being built. They're spending a lot of money on a new self-managed plant behind them where it will be robotic, which will sort the cardboard and paper. So as of next year, I think they have to have less food waste on the cardboard. So that will kick off. So they're spending a lot of money on that. So it was interesting in that stage. We have, like, all of the ACT committee have heard the speech that Emerson referred to at the beginning before. So I guess that's where, you know, like, that's a repeat. But the factory itself was a nice chance to tour the factory. And interesting in seeing where they're going and where our recycling ends up and what people should and not put in the recycling bins, because then people, the other end, have to deal with that. So, yeah, that was good to see firsthand.
I just quickly mentioned, that was actually the only happy guy there. His job is to, like, unscrew the lids, because you're meant to undo that. He was generally the only happy employee, besides, like, the one doing, like, the talking, because they're, like, meant to be happy and because they're showing it off and stuff. But he was genuinely happy. The rest of them looked stone-faced. So, I don't know. He enjoys that job. So I would recommend taking off your lids, because it's one guy, but he really enjoys it.
Thanks for that. We'll move on to the library event Sip and Paint night.
Emerson and I had the opportunity to go along to this event. We had an amazing turnout, bringing together all ages. A lot of people, it was a paint by number, and not a lot, but a couple people got creative and started painting their own stuff on top and adding details, and it was really fun, and everyone seemed to enjoy themselves.
Awesome. Next we have the Careers Expo. I think Ren will speak to this. Thank you.
The Jobs and Pathways Expo was held recently at the Gawler Civic Centre on Thursday, August the 22nd. It was a great turnout, lots of people in attendance and lots of businesses working together to help support the community. And it was an excellent opportunity for local community members seeking employment to be able to come to one location and access information and resources and speak directly with staff. Yeah, it's great that we can, have these type of events locally. So,
Awesome, thank you. Next is on the Gawler show, and Abby's not here, so Deb, would you like to speak to this one? Thank you.
Yes, through the chair. Obviously, we did have the band play, but it was also good to see we had art go into the show. So we had a chess set that was made from polyclay last school holidays. That was Pokemon versus Minions, and that was just a display, and that got a lot of feedback and a lot of people having photos next to it and tagging us, so that was quite cute. But it was also it's really well made, and it's in the U space now, so it's now our chess set in the U space. So that's really cool. We also had some watercolour paintings submitted, and a couple of those won some prizes, which was nice. And some photography was entered in the show as well. And one of our young people won something for everything they put in, which was really quite cool. Also, gave Daniel a bit of run for his money because he did a workshop with us on photography. So, yeah, it was great to see some local art going into the show and getting recognised. So we'll continue to do that next year.
Nice. Darcy and I's cousins won a couple prizes too for their artwork. You didn't know? They're quite young, so it was very cute. Next, move on to the Mayor's Christmas Card Competition for 2024, and Ren to speak to this one. Thank you.
On Monday, the 26th of August, Debbie and I delivered the Mayor's Christmas Card Competition entry forms to all the local primary schools. It was great to be able to deliver the entry forms in person, and we look forward to seeing the festive and creative entries from students this year.
Awesome. Next is History Month planning. Would you also like to speak to this one, Deb? Abby's not here.
Thank you. Through the chair, just because Abby's not here, and Abby, myself and Alan have been talking about History Month for 2025, geocaching and setting up that local one in Gawler. And we would like to know, there are some other young people involved, but we'd like to know if there's any YAC members that would like to put their hand up to help us It can be planning where they go, what history is told, and like funny facts about Gawler or different things that we can put in them, but also what we hide the clues in. So if there is someone interested, we would really like one of the ACT members other than Abby to also be involved. Ace, yep. Anyone else? You can have more than one. Max, oh great, Lily, that's great. It'll be really good. So we hope to let you know, and we'll have another catch up very soon.
Awesome. Before we move on, just a couple points that weren't in my notes. 8.7 is the sponsorship review, and we haven't received any applicants for that. And we also have the Gen Now piece, which there's nothing to say about, as I'm going to be writing the next one, I believe. Yeah, which is 8.6 and 8.7. They were the final two in that list. Was there any other updates from anyone? Has anyone done anything cool this past month? Hasn't been that long since we've seen each other. No, we're all pretty boring. Studying, playing. Nice. We'll move on to item 9 then. Are there any items listed for discussion at future meetings? Is there anything else we want to talk about at future meetings? Nothing? Are there any questions without notice? Councillor Davies.
So just, I did notice, this is about the report, but I did notice the Town of Gawler Youth Leadership Award didn't get any submissions from either Gawler and District College or Trinity. I'm just wondering about the process there, because I'd assume that it's not because the teachers had a meeting and decided that none of their students qualified. So I'm just wondering, I'm not, because I'm on the board as the council rep at the Gawler and District College, and I'd be happy to bring it up when it comes up, but I think it's sort of into a odd in-between space, because it's the normally I know Gawler and District does their and Trinity as well, I think, do their award nights and that sort of.
Just happened for Trinity.
Yeah, they do their award nights, and we've sort of made it a separate thing, a council thing, rather than having a presentation at their awards nights. And I wonder if it slipped through the cracks somewhat from the way that we do it. So just curious about what the process is there.
Through the chair, we can, obviously the sponsorship review is under review at the moment, the other sponsorships, so that can be something that's also considered. I'll talk to Chair when she's back from leave. Obviously it goes out to the schools, and then there's a reminder, and there was actually a follow-up again, so because obviously we extended the time frame by a month as well, just to try to see if there was an applicant. So I think it's been very busy, and it might be for lots of different reasons. Also, I do know that there was change of office staff in one of the schools as well, so that probably doesn't help. So obviously we want people to submit applications. Last year we did get one from each school, so that was really great. And the idea was to have them come into the awards ceremony with the other sponsorships. But at that time, obviously, from now on in, obviously October, we go into exams, and then one of the young people was travelling, and the other young person was very hard to track down because obviously they've already finished school. Yeah, so it's something we need to consider. Maybe we can consider, so I'll make a note and we'll come back to you next meeting, if that's okay.
Awesome. Any other questions without notice? No other questions? Any motions without notice? No. If there's nothing else to discuss or anything else anyone else wants to bring up, I will close the meeting at 6:59. Our next meeting is Monday the 4th of November, commencing at 6:30. Thank you all. That was really short.
It was our shortest meeting all year.
That's what happens when I'm in charge. It goes fast. It's because I don't have anything to talk about. Ooh.
No, it's good because
No.